Hey, everybody. It's a rainy day in Indianapolis. I'm sitting in my office. I finished a session with a client early, and so I decided to do a little Facebook Live. Yes, Facebook Live today, and sitting here at my office at Remarkable House. And so if you're here, say hello. If you have questions as I go, ask them, right? And so I'm probably going to if I'm going to do that, go look at what people are doing. I'm going to put my glasses on. So what I want to do today is talk to you about a leadership lesson from the movie A Wizard of Oz. Okay, so The Wizard of Oz, if you're my age, it came on once a year on network TV, and it was a big deal. I think it was the same time of year every year, and sort of back in the day when there were 3 channels, everyone watched, right? And so for the story, the part of the story I want to talk about is near the end, and it's a part of the movie that I never got to early on. Waving back, part I never got to at the end was the end because I was so focused on the flying monkeys and they freaked me out. So I never made it to the end. But when you get to the end of the movie, near the end of the movie, which I have now done, when you get to the end of the movie, there's a scene where Dorothy and her compatriots come down into the Emerald City, and there's all this stuff and all these buildings, and then they end up going into this building to meet or to see the great and powerful Oz. And in this classic spot in this movie, they're looking at this wall, and there are these flashing green lights showing up on the wall, and they are scared. They're shaking. And the booming voice of the great and powerful Oz is talking to them, and they are freaked out. On the other hand, Toto the dog is not freaked out. Toto the dog is a dog. It's curious and walking around, sees this little area over here, pulls down this drape or this sheet or this curtain by its teeth. Underneath or behind the curtain is the great and powerful Oz, which is this little dude with a big megaphone. And then he's trying to get them to say, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain and all that stuff. And there's a big leadership lesson here for us. And here it is. When we don't know what's going on or what to expect, it freaks us out. We get worried. We don't know about the unknown. When we don't know about the unknown, we make up what's going to happen, and we make up the worst. It's the way it is. Now, that's human nature. How does that relate to us as a leader? What happens is this. When people know change is coming, they get worried. They get freaked out. They start talking about their thoughts about what it is or isn't, right? Does that make sense? And so what do? They start making up these stories, and they start sharing them with each other, which is what we would all call gossip. And so gossip is like a mushroom. It grows in the dark. When we don't know any better, we make something up. Most of us make up something negative. It becomes gossip. It becomes prevalent. It changes the dynamics in our team, and we're sitting there as a leader going, but that's not really exactly what's going to happen. And yet the longer the gossip goes, the more real it is, and the harder your change message becomes, because you now not only have to talk to them about what's going to happen, but you have to convince them that what they think is going to happen isn't going to happen. Right? So the gossip has become the truth. And so now you have to convince them that what they think is the truth is not the truth, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the point. So if gossip grows in the dark, if gossip doesn't help us, and that starts because people are worried, concerned, because they don't know. And when they don't know, they make it up, just like Dorothy and her compatriots did when they heard the booming voice and saw the flashing lights on the wall. Once they had the real story and they became clear that the wizard was no more than this little dude, it changed everything. But the changes, when we make that change with our folks, it isn't always quite that simple, right? So here's the lesson. The lesson is, if we're going to, and by the way, if you're finding this useful, take a look at kevineikenberry.com/way, because we're going to be introducing something for folks, and we want to get your thoughts on what it's going to look like. So I want to be able to answer your questions then as well. So here's the thing, kevineikenberry.com/way. But here's the lesson for us as leaders in this scenario. Oftentimes we don't think we should share anything about the change until we have all of the info. Like, I can't tell people about what's going on until I know everything. And so we wait, and while we wait, they're worried and they're making it up, and gossip starts and drama begins and all the other stuff. So what I'm suggesting to you instead, if you're leading a change effort, is tell people as much as you can, as soon as you can, even if you don't know everything. So, and I know sometimes there are things that you're not at liberty to share. And in most cases, people understand that. And you can say, hey, there are some things I can't share yet, but here's what I can share. Here's what's coming. Here's what's going on. As I have more info, I will share what I can. So if you're willing to continue to do that, and if that's a true statement, then do that, right? So, hey, here's what I know. Here's what I don't know. Here's what I'm hearing you say that isn't true, right? And so we can quell gossip by shedding a light. Putting a light into the darkness makes it clear that what people might have been thinking may not be true. We remove the worry. Now, if what they've come up with as the worry is true, we need to talk about that too. So all I'm saying here is, of course, be honest, but I'm really talking about here is being transparent. It's sort of the fancy word that consultant type people use. And all I'm really saying is tell people what you know when you know it, as much as you can when you can. And when you do that, you will avoid the Wizard of Oz effect. You will avoid the, man, I don't know what's going on, I'm going to make it up. Right. So Marlene is saying that this really happens a lot in remote teams too. That's exactly right. What the people that are working out at home, spread out across the country or wherever they happen to be for you, man, the reality is that they're making it up even more because they don't even have other information. So they're really on their own, and so they're making it up. And even if it doesn't spread into gossip, this person to this person, this person, the worry that person is experiencing. You know, we've all had that experience too, right? When we're worried about something, when we just don't know what's going to happen. And when we're remote, we don't even have anyone, we may not have anyone else to talk to about. So we stew on it and we worry about it even more. And so do we want our folks worrying? No. Do we want our folks gossiping? No. Are people productive when either of those things are happening? No. So what can we do as a leader to overcome that? Well, one of the things we can do is to give people information. Tell them what we know when we know it, as much as we can, when we can. And when we do that, we will reduce the worry, reduce the gossip. And even if their concern is real, it's been confirmed, and then there's room to take action on it for both people individually and for the group. So man, when you have got some of that stuff going on, the best thing you can do is to pull back the curtain, so to speak, tear down the curtain and start to help people with it. I hope this was useful. Spending a little time. There you go. Transparency and reassurance kills the mushrooms. That's exactly right. Now, it's the time of year where some people in some parts of the country might be wanting to pick mushrooms, but remember, lots of mushrooms are poisonous. And so we want to either, we want to kill the mushrooms, or certainly don't eat the poisonous mushrooms. Certainly be very true, right? So listen, hopefully this was helpful. Again, we're going to be releasing something soon, a series of videos where I go deep into how we can really become more effective leaders in the real world of being busy every day, all day long. And so I'm going to help you do all that. And the way to do that is to join us. The way to do that is to join us on at kevineikenberry.com/way. You see the link here on the side. Thanks for being here, everybody, for a little video lesson, a little movie bit for you. And so if you don't have anything to do this weekend, you can watch The Wizard of Oz and you can look for leadership lessons, and you can say to your family that you're working. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you all soon.